Right now, somewhere in Australia, someone is turning down a pay rise, knocking back overtime, telling the boss, nah, I'm right, because they reckon earning more will somehow leave them with less once the taxman takes his cut. It's one of the most believed money myths in the country. It is completely wrong, and believing it is quietly costing people thousands. So let's settle it. Here's how tax brackets actually work. You've heard it, maybe at the pub, maybe from your old man, maybe you've said it yourself. Careful, that overtime will push you into the next tax bracket. You'll actually take home less. It sounds logical. It feels true. People genuinely knock back promotions over it. And the whole thing is built on a misunderstanding of one single word. Once you've got that word, you'll never fall for it again, and you'll never let anyone talk you out of a pay rise. Here's the myth laid out plainly. People picture the tax system as a row of buckets, and the moment one extra dollar tips you into a higher bucket, the higher rate slams down on all your income. Every dollar right from the bottom. So a tiny pay rise could trigger a massive tax jump and leave you worse off than before you got it. If that were true, you really should be scared of a raise. But that is not how it works, not even close. So let's look at the actual brackets. This year, an Australian resident pays no tax at all on the first $18,200, the tax-free threshold. From there up to 45 grand, you pay 16 cents in the dollar. From 45,000 up to 135, it's 30 cents. Up to 190, 37, and above that, 45. Plus a 2% Medicare levy on top. 5 tiers. Look a bit scary? Here's the bit the myth gets completely, totally wrong. Here's the word, marginal. Australia uses marginal tax rates, and all that means is each rate only applies to the dollars inside its own band, never your whole income. Picture your income like water filling a glass from the bottom up. The first 18 grand sits in the tax-free layer, 0. The next slice sits in the 16-cent layer, and only that slice is taxed at 16. Cross into the 30-cent band, and only the dollars above 45,000 pay 30. The dollars underneath never change, ever. A pay rise can only ever be taxed at the rate of the band it lands in, not your whole income. Let's prove it with real numbers. Say you're on 44,000, just under that 45,000 line. Your boss offers you a $2,000 raise, which tips you over into the 30-cent bracket. The myth says you'll go backwards. Here's what actually happens. Only the part of that raise sitting above 45,000 gets the new 30-cent rate. The rest is still taxed at the lower rate underneath. All up, the taxman takes around $500 of your $2,000 raise. You keep roughly $1,500. You didn't go backwards, you went forward by $1,500. Under this system, it is mathematically impossible to lose money by earning more. Impossible. Now, to be straight with you, because that's the whole point of this channel, there's a tiny grain of truth buried in the myth. There are a few specific spots in the system where earning a bit more means you keep less of each extra dollar than you'd expect. But here's what matters. None of them are the tax brackets. They're separate things. Losing a low income tax offset as your income climbs, crossing a Medicare levy threshold, or hitting a cutoff for a government payment like family benefits. In those narrow bands, your effective rate spikes for a stretch. But even then, you almost never walk away with less in your pocket overall. You just keep a smaller slice of the extra. The brackets themselves, they can't touch you. So next time someone leans over and tells you to knock back the overtime to dodge the tax man, you'll know they've got it exactly backwards. But knowing the myth is rubbish is one thing. Let me show you how to see the real number for yourself before you ever say yes or no to a raise. 3 quick moves. 1. Know the difference between your marginal rate and your average rate. Your marginal rate is what your next dollar is taxed at. Your average rate across your whole income is always lower. On 100 grand, your top rate is 30%, but you actually pay only about 23% of the lot. 2. Before you accept or knock back a raise, run it through a free take-home pay calculator. Search Pay Calculator Australia, type in the old salary and the new one, and you'll see the after-tax difference in seconds. And 3, the golden rule: if the number after tax is bigger, take it. With a pay rise under the brackets, it always is. So here's where that leaves you. You never have to fear a pay rise again. You never have to knock back overtime to, quote, stay in a lower bracket, because that simply isn't a thing. Take the raise, take the promotion, earn every dollar you can, and know that under this system, more is always more. Quick, honest line, because it matters. This is how the tax system works in general. It's not personal tax advice, and if your situation's complicated, a registered tax agent is who you want. But the myth, you can put that one to bed for good. This whole channel is just this, pulling the Australian money system apart, one myth and one mechanism at a time. Plain English, nothing to sell you. Next one, we're taking on negative gearing, the property thing every Australian's heard of, half the country argues about, and almost nobody can actually explain. If you want that, subscribe. And do someone a favor, send this to the one person in your life who's still scared of a